Hi, my name is Jacob Adams. I'm a fitness and leadership coach. I help people just like you achieve more results in the gym, getting more energy, getting more understanding of our inner workings, our soul, our mind, our attitudes, our relationships, period, with ourselves. There is no greater relationship than the one you have with yourself. Quote me on that. That's from James Hollis said that. He's a Jungian psychologist. Now, here we are. It's a beautiful day today, and today we'll be going into, well, let me ask you this. Have you ever struggled with knowing where to go in dating? How to set up a structure that makes sense, that can put you in a position to get wins, get a successful dating life? Man, I mean, have you ever struggled with that? Like, hey, what do I do? Do I kiss them now? Do they want to kiss? Can I still keep their interest if I don't get a kiss now? What's our structure? You know, is it when's too soon? When should I have sex? When should I not? Should I tell them that I don't like that friend of theirs that is moving in, kind of seeming like they want some sexual intimacy with them? What do I do? You know, you're not alone, because I myself have a good chunk of experience in long-term relationships, in the dating world. So I'm going to bring to you my quick story on what happened. You see, I started out in my teenage years, close to 20 years old, dating my high school sweetheart. We got a place in Austin, Texas, and we were off. I remember holding her hand like it was a sunny day, walking to sign the lease. It was one of the most beautiful zenned out moments of my life. Now, here we are, she's married with somebody else with two, 3 kids. And I fast forwarded, only to tell you, from here, I fast forwarded a lot. But from here till that point, I've dated 2 other women long term, and no kids or anything like that. No, and I'm on good terms with all 3 of those people. And in between, just a few, dating for a month or so, just sort of feel it out. And I've had some of the experiences where there was, a possessive ex-boyfriend that, coming from an abusive relationship, that maybe this person hadn't cleaned out their closet. They weren't prepared. They weren't prepared to actually be in a relationship, but maybe they wanted to get over them. They were rebounding, and they just wanted to leave the past behind. The past doesn't really work that way. You really got to make peace with it if you're really going to be ready to get into a relationship. And that's a hard lesson, and you're probably gonna experience it, trying to avoid experiencing that, and that's why you're watching this video. So I salute you if you haven't, but if you have experienced that, I just want you to know, my friend, you're not alone. That is something that happens in the dating world. So develop your thick skin and get back in the game as soon as you can, within reason. Give yourself the time you need to nurse your wounds and just start getting life again. I know that sometimes you might be thinking that you might be in bed and caught in your own misery, not knowing how to get out of it. You may think there is no way out. You may be thinking suicidal thoughts because you may think that your problems are so special, or you're alone in this world and it's cold. And that's what bitterness does. It makes us sort of retract and start closing off to the world, and eventually ending in suicide. And I don't say that lightly, but I mean, if you look at Robin Williams, he committed suicide. And some successful people have committed suicide in this world. So I don't say that lightly. I'm just saying, be very careful with the stuff you're about to hear, because this does tie into a lot of that. Now, that said, let's continue. What I was getting at is that, we've been there. I've been there where and that's just one of the people that I've met. It's common when someone's rebounding, for example, to get close to them, get really high, deep, intimate feelings, have sex with them, and then you don't know where to go from there. Now they may walk away, and there goes your heart with them. There goes your torn heart in shambles. You maybe have been rebounding too, and now you're dealing with the first breakup, your insecurities, your lack of self-esteem, plus the new breakup from the rebound, and that's where it gets really painful. Okay, so I just want you to know, you're looking at someone that's experienced this. This is not just theory to me. This is not just some book I read. I have a few white hairs on my temple to illustrate that. Yeah, I've been through the ringer. I've been in the trenches. I am coming back from the war, reporting to you here for free. I want you to know that this is real for me. This is a very real part of my work, is to help maximize my life, and in turn help maximize yours. As I said, fitness and leadership coach. So now that's it. Today, what I wanted to do is, what I did basically is now, and through learning all that, there was one time I was going through a really toxic relationship where with this now my ex-girlfriend, but at the time, I was really caught up in it, and I was looking up books like I Hate You, Don't Leave Me, Borderline Personality Disorder. I was looking at all these psychology books because I was trying my best and getting nowhere with it. I had never been in that situation where I was trying my best to make the relationship work and I was going nowhere with it, okay? I mean, that's an understatement. I was depressed. I was showing up to work late, hungover, just like caught in my own misery. I started bringing that misery into my workplaces, and I started losing clients. And nobody wants to be around that guy that has misery within himself. You are an environment. You bring your environment into your world, into your spaces. So be very careful with that. Now that said, okay, so I started meditating. And I wrote a book called Bold Action, Meditation, Pure Love. I gave myself a break from the addictive cycles of rebounding, of going into my codependent behavior, and just trying to heal my wounds by falling into someone else's bed, right? Or intimacy or romance and eating and watching the Netflix, all of that stuff that feels so good, so enriching, and just trying to get away with it in life. In other words, like trying to avoid my life's work, okay? And so I was avoiding developing, as James Hollis says, developing the relationship with myself. And you're never going to have a better relationship than the one you have with yourself. So here I am 2 years later after the breakup. Me and the ex-girlfriend, we get along great. It's fine. It's water under the bridge. I'm very happy for her. I actually told her last time I talked to her, I want you to love yourself more. And I don't expect anything I told her, look, you still look great. You have great hair. You still look good. You just go to the gym, start loving yourself more. Because she's found herself rebounding now, still these 2 years. And I'm like, I care for you as a person. I don't want anything for this love. I just want you to love yourself. Love is unconditional. I used to care for you a lot. Just come on, it's time to love yourself, right? And she goes, Jacob, thank you. Simple as that. And that's love, right? It doesn't ask for, well, I told you this, you're going to need to, love me back. It was just, I just want you watching, just love yourself. What's so wrong with that? I'm just asking you to love yourself. One of my friends, Barry, shout out to Barry, when I was going through the breakup, he says, you're worthy, you yourself are worthy of your own love. It really hit me. That really hit a place in me at the time. You yourself are worthy. You yourself are worthy of your own love. Think about it. Just think about it. Well, here we are all these 2 years later. I've gone online. My business is starting to go back up again. I'm going deep in meditation. Like I said, I'm at peace with everything. And finally, the book I picked up a while back, Boundaries in Dating, I'm actually applying in real life. As a matter of fact, I may have sent you this video because I'm interested in dating you. Chew on that. Or maybe you're just watching because you're on YouTube. I don't know how you got this video. I'm just saying what I'm showing you here is a full transparency. It's a full transparency, my friend. There's no pulling of punches here today. The book I got is called Boundaries in Dating by Henry Cloud. And in 2014, I was like, well, this is what I'm doing wrong. I had sex too soon. I jumped into another relationship too soon. We got immersed in our own world too soon, and just us and removing people in our life that matter, our friends, and closing off to just in this little apartment, watching movies and doing intimate stuff, right? I just did that. And I did it too soon. So again, this doesn't come from this judgmental place. Yes, Henry Cloud, the person that wrote Boundaries in Dating, is a Christian man, and they're Christians in a Christian base. That's not there that might excite you, might be very good news like it was for me, or maybe just it turns you off on someone. But I want you to take with you today some of the beauty in the science. They're psychologists. And so take with you today some of the beauty in their message, not the religion or not what you don't like. Just take from this what you like, what you can put towards you. And if it means that you and I date because I sent you this video, or it means that it helps your dating life, or whatever, I'd love for you to share it and everything. But let's get right into it. Okay, so I'm feeling better, and I actually just recently went on a date and, I said, these are my boundaries, and I know the person really respected it. I know the person really appreciated that because they said, like, these are my boundaries. And we didn't have sex, and it ended up being just a little coffee date, and nobody got hurt. It was just, we're not compatible. And was there some chemistry? Was there some great conversation? Yeah, it was amazing. It's just like, but when it came to building a life together and having kids and stuff, we're not compatible there. We're just compatible to a certain extent, but not the full extent, right? And that's perfectly okay. And that's what, in dating, you don't really, if you rush into things like we're going to go into, if you don't set the boundaries, someone can cross a boundary that you have, but they didn't know it. Or maybe you got too close too soon to it, and now you're like one in spirit, you're one in physicality, and now you're so close, but maybe you're not compatible long term. But you try to write it out anyway. You go a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years in the wrong relationship, right? So I want you to know that in the past, if you look back in the 90s, in the year 2000s, even in the early 2010s, right? It was more common for us to stay into, what's the word? It was more common for us to want to rebound, and rap was hot, right? Eminem was on the radio waves during the even today, he let out Rap God like 2-3 years ago, okay? So, rebounding has always been it always has its place in the world. Like, it's always been, prostitution is the oldest profession, they say, right? That was Too Short that said it, prostitute, or, it's one of those things that it's common for us to know that rebounding is sexy. It's still cool. It's still a thing, but we're moving to a place now. And here we are, it's year 2017, where there's so much information that now we know that rebound is it can also be pretty tacky, and it'll tear your heart apart. There's also that knowledge too. So there's a new shift occurring, and it's a very fine shift. So congratulations for watching this video. I was somebody that struggled with Christianity and agnosticism for a long time. So what you're about to see is not a preachy thing. Yes, I am a yogi. Yes, I'm a yogi Catholic. I was raised Catholic and everything, but this isn't coming from that place of judgment, or like, it's just here for you to take it and use it. So here we go. Now let's get to it. The first thing you want to do when you're setting a boundary is understand what they are, okay? So I have here, for example, I don't want lies, right? Right, that's my boundary. It could be your boundary too. It's a common one. My boundaries are pretty common. I'll list mine. No lies. There's 2 types of people that lie. One is a person that's afraid of losing a situation, and 2 is just a straight up manipulative person, okay? So the book goes into, if it's a number 2 that's just straight up manipulative, run for the hills, run the other way, okay? And type 1 is someone that kind of lies, like, how much do you weigh? Well, I weigh 200 pounds, and they might weigh 220. See, they're lying. They're trying to lie to not feel ashamed of themselves. So there's that not saying that one's correct. It's like that one's more forgivable as long as you bring it up. Your boundary could be lying. They may cross that boundary. You need to address it. Can you overcome the small lie? But if someone's a straight up manipulative person, just run for the hills, okay? So the other boundary the book talks about is, it says, understand that when you have sex, it does make you one body. And in that union, you're speeding up a process which is designed to get you to have kids, get married, and get to the next level. But while that's true, you may not be compatible long term. You may not be a good match, but your body's already matched. So now you may be trying to drag it up the hill when there's not enough juice back here to push it up with you, okay? So the sex, that's why they say, the common saying is, great sex isn't everything. That's what it's coming from, okay? And I've been there where, unfortunately, great sex is not everything. And it could feel like everything for a while, but it's just not. Okay, so understand that before you have sex, and here's the process. So also little things like, so it says establish friends first. So these are stuff in the book, establish friends first. So you can say, maybe you have 20 friends, maybe you have 50 friends. I don't know, maybe you have 30 friends, maybe you have 10 friends that are females. For me, it'd be females. For you, if you're a woman, it'd be males. And so establish friends first, be friends first, Then let's say you have your top 10 friends, you'd be open to dating 5 of them. Then it says go on dates, meaning things that are more cordial, that are not looking to just get into bed, not looking to just be rebounded material, just looking to stuff, right? So once you got that, like you're just kind of dating, and then maybe you kiss her a little. I don't know. There's no like set rules. There's no like, it's structured, but it's not like, you know, there's still art here. There's still love. There's still romance. You're still going to feel things, but it's just not rushing into the physical so quickly. It's getting into, you know, what are your values? What are you into? What are your goals? Well, how do you feel about kids? You know, let's talk about family, you know? So let's just say you have maybe you get your top 2 to 3. And then as you start weaning, maybe you're just looking at 2, then you get down to 2, and then you go, well, you know what? You say, this is the person. You haven't had sex with either of them, but you're like, this is the person that I really want to, and they could be doing, but see, the thing, it's not a one-way street. You allow the other person, see, it's not about control. It's not about, well, I'm doing this, but you can't. You know, you're happy for them to be talking to other people because it allows the other person to also make their best choice. In other words, I guarantee you could be deep in a relationship, and if you tried controlling into that relationship up to that point, there's gonna come a point where you're like, man, I wish that person would just be happy. And if you're not the person for them, trust me, you don't want them long term. You might want them in the short term, but you're not gonna want them long term anyway. So you want them to find the right person for them, okay? So understand that, and then once you're in a committed relationship, if you want to have sex, well, you've gone through the process. And then if you want to get married, well, that's up to you. You want to have kids, that's up to you. That's the next level, okay? They also have a book called Boundaries in Marriage, but this is called Boundaries in Dating. As long as you make it to that commitment stage, that's pretty damn good, especially if you haven't had sex at that point and you're ready to commit and there's something there. You know, hey, for some of you, you might want to talk about sex, but you're talking about it without having it. For some of you might want to say, hey, look, I like this in sex. Do you like, maybe those are deal breakers. Talk about them. What are your deal breakers? For me, it's like people that, let's say I'm dating a woman I know in the past. If I'm dating her and in a committed relationship, I don't want guys coming around that are trying to date her and her not pushing them away, right? In other words, know the intention. That's one of my boundaries. And along with these, right? Or no drama. Like, in other words, like, careless drama. Drama isn't aware of itself. Drama that has no mindful appreciation to contribute love or joy. Like, that's just sort of selfishly seeking attention. That's one of, like, if there's a lot of signs that this person is dramatic or not my type, then that's a deal breaker for me. Okay, but that's me. You see, like, what about you? What are your deal breakers? Okay, so this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. You get the book. There's broad strokes. Okay, you can also understand that it's common for people to want to just rush into sex. That's very common. I think that's the most common thing, and to not feel alone, or to just try to get to the next dating app. Like, understand there's a mystery to life, but if you give someone full disclosure, your full intentions, like me, I'm going to send you this video. If I'm interested in dating you, I'm going to send you this video, and it shows all my work. It shows all my YouTube stuff. So you're going to get a full look as to who I am, right? So understand that there's an element to this of appreciating other people and what they bring to the table and what you bring to the table, and understand that it's very common for people to want to rebound, okay? So I'd love for you to subscribe. This is Jacob Adams signing off. Hope this helped you. Love to go to evolutiontraining.net, download a free download right now. We'll see you next time. Love to comment below. Bye.